People often say that moving into assisted living is the right choice, the safe choice, the one that promises peace of mind. And in some ways, that's true. You may have more medical support, more structure, even a sense of security. But what isn't spoken about nearly enough is the quiet ache that follows when you leave behind the place where your life unfolded. It's not just about walls and furniture. It's about the laughter that once filled your kitchen, the way the sunlight used to spill into your favorite chair, or the familiar path you walked every evening. Those things don't come with you in boxes. They live in memory, and memory is a tender thing. It can feel almost like a betrayal to admit regret, can't it? After all, everyone says you made the smart move. But wisdom isn't about pretending everything is perfect. Wisdom is about being honest with yourself and recognizing that regret is not failure. It's simply a natural part of change. Your heart and spirit are adjusting just as much as your body is. The truth is, as we get older, we're not just navigating safety or health. We're navigating meaning. And meaning is not something that can be prescribed by a facility or even by the well-intentioned advice of family members. It comes from within you, from the threads of your story, your habits, your attachments, your quiet joys. Aging has a way of reminding us that every choice, even the ones that look good on paper, carries a shadow. Sometimes that shadow is loneliness. Sometimes it's the longing for independence. Sometimes it's simply the sound of silence where once there was a dog barking or the kettle whistling in your own kitchen. So if you've been feeling the sting of regret, let me tell you, you are not broken and you did not make a mistake. You are human, and humans grieve what they lose, even when the loss is wrapped in something practical. The real question isn't whether you should have done differently. It's how you can honor both your choice and your feelings without shame, without rushing yourself to get over it. Perhaps you might ask yourself gently, what exactly is it that I miss the most? Is it the physical space, the community I left behind, or the sense of control I once held in my hands? These questions aren't meant to burden you, only to help you uncover where the ache truly lives. Because once you know, you can begin to tend to it, like watering a plant that has gone a little dry. And while we're here, I'd love to know something simple about you. Where are you reading this from right now? Sometimes just naming our place, the city, the town, even the room, can be the first step in reconnecting to ourselves. If you feel comfortable, share it in the comments. I'd love to hear. Helen was 78 when she first moved into assisted living. At the beginning, she felt like the walls were closing in on her.
She told me once, "I thought I was being cared for, but instead, I felt like I had been placed in a waiting room for the rest of my life." That feeling is something many people never speak about out loud. On paper, she had everything she needed: meals prepared, help when she asked, a safe environment. And yet, inside, there was a quiet restlessness, a longing for the small freedoms she once took for granted. What changed for Helen wasn't the facility or its rules. It was the way she began to notice what was still in her hands. She realized she could ask to rearrange her room so that her favorite chair faced the morning light. She chose to eat later in the dining hall at a time when the crowd was smaller, because she never liked noise at breakfast. She even gathered a few neighbors and restarted her knitting group, something that had always brought her joy. Slowly, she began to feel that life wasn't something being done to her, it was still hers to shape, in little ways. That's the gentle truth many of us overlook. Freedom doesn't vanish, it simply shifts form. It may not look like driving yourself to the store or gardening for hours the way you used to, but it can look like deciding what book you read at night, what sweater you choose in the morning, or who you let into your space for a cup of tea. These may seem like small details, but they are the threads that keep your sense of self alive. Perhaps you might try this yourself. Sit quietly with a notebook and list 3 small choices that still belong entirely to you. Maybe it's whether you drink tea or coffee, whether you keep the curtains open or closed, or whether you call your daughter today or tomorrow. Protect those choices as you would something precious, because they are. When you start to notice these freedoms, even in modest form, your heart feels less caged. Instead of thinking, everything has been taken from me, you begin to whisper, some things are still mine. That whisper can change how the whole day feels. So I invite you to pause and gently ask yourself, what part of your day still feels like truly yours? The answer doesn't need to be profound. It might be the way you fold your blanket at night, or the song you hum before bed. These are the quiet treasures of everyday life, and they matter more than most people realize. If reflections like these speak to you, I'd encourage you to subscribe so we can continue walking this path together. Every week, I share gentle, practical ways to help you find comfort and meaning in this season of life, and I'd love for you to be part of it. When you start to notice these freedoms, even in modest form, your heart feels less caged. Instead of thinking, everything has been taken from me, you begin to whisper, some things are still mine. That whisper can change how the whole day feels. So I invite you to pause and gently ask yourself, what part of your day still feels like truly yours? The answer doesn't need to be profound. It might be the way you fold your blanket at night, or the song you hum before bed. These are the quiet treasures of everyday life, and they matter more than most people realize. If reflections like these speak to you, I'd encourage you to subscribe so we can continue walking this path together. Every week, I share gentle, practical ways to help you find comfort and meaning in this season of life, and I'd love for you to be part of it. One of the things that often surprises people after moving into assisted living is how strongly their body reacts to change. It isn't just an emotional adjustment, it is physical too. You might feel more tired than usual, your appetite may shift, or your digestion might not feel the same. Some people even notice changes in mood, like irritability or sadness that seem to come out of nowhere. It's easy to blame yourself or think something is wrong with you, but the truth is far simpler and much kinder. Your body is just responding to disruption. When we age, our systems don't rebound as quickly as they once did. In your 30s or 40s, you could change your daily routine without much consequence. But now, even small shifts in schedule, diet, or environment can create ripples that your body takes time to settle into. Imagine your body as a finely tuned clock that's been ticking in a steady rhythm for decades. Suddenly, the setting changes. The meals are served at different hours, the bed feels different, the sounds at night are unfamiliar, and even the quality of the water might not taste like what you're used to. That clock has to recalibrate, and recalibration takes energy. Fatigue, unsettled digestion, or restless sleep are not signs that you've made a bad decision, they're signs that your body is in the process of adapting. Understanding this can relieve some of the fear, because it reminds you that what you're experiencing is not permanent. There are gentle ways to help yourself through it. Hydration is one of the simplest. Drink water regularly, but in small amounts throughout the day, rather than forcing large cups at once. Your digestive system can adjust better that way. Light movement is another. A 10-minute walk in the hallway or a gentle stretch by the window helps your circulation, keeps your muscles engaged, and tells your body, I am still active, I am still here. Rest is equally important. Allow yourself to nap without guilt if your energy dips, because rest is part of healing. And don't underestimate the effect of food changes. Assisted living meals may be balanced, but they may not be what your body has known for years. Notice how certain foods make you feel, and if something doesn't sit well, speak up. Most facilities are more flexible than you might imagine. This isn't about demanding luxury, it's about listening to your body with respect. It can be helpful to pause and ask yourself quietly, are the changes I feel in my body a sign of decline or simply a sign of adjustment? The distinction matters because one leads to despair, while the other allows space for compassion and patience. You might find that much of what troubles you now is temporary, a passing phase as your system learns a new rhythm. Give yourself permission to move slowly through this. Your body isn't working against you, it is working with you, just at a pace that requires gentleness. And in that gentleness lies a reminder. Aging is not about rushing to adapt, but about learning how to live kindly within your own skin, even when the surroundings change. When everything around you feels unfamiliar, one of the most healing things you can do is create anchors of comfort. These are not grand gestures or sweeping changes, but small, steady practices that tell your heart, I still belong here.
Think of them as little roots that keep you grounded in a place that doesn't yet feel like home. The first step is to choose one deeply personal item to place in your daily space. It might be a photograph of your family, a quilt that has warmed you for years, or even a chair that has carried your weight through countless afternoons. Place it where your eyes naturally rest, so that every time you see it, your body remembers something familiar. That single object becomes more than decoration. It becomes a bridge between the past and the present. The second step is to schedule gentle rituals. A ritual doesn't have to be religious or complicated. It can be as simple as having your morning tea by the same window each day, or taking a short walk after lunch, or listening to music before bed. The power of ritual lies in repetition, in the comfort of knowing that at least one part of your day will always unfold in the same way. These rituals give shape to time, and with that shape comes reassurance. The third step is to reconnect with one activity that feels like yours. Perhaps it's knitting, journaling, prayer, writing letters, or even tending to a small plant by your window. This isn't about keeping busy, it's about reminding yourself that life still carries meaning through the things you love. The continuity of these activities helps your identity shine through, even when the environment is different. The fourth step is to allow these practices to take root before you reach for new ones. It can be tempting to try everything at once, all the classes, all the social events, all the activities on the calendar. But too much change at once can leave you feeling scattered rather than settled. Instead, nurture the familiar first. Let it grow strong enough to support you, and then gently add new experiences when you feel ready. You may discover that even one or two steady anchors create a sense of safety that no external schedule could give you. It's worth asking yourself with kindness, what small thing could I bring into my daily life here that would remind me of who I am? The answer doesn't need to impress anyone else, it only needs to comfort you. Maybe it's the smell of a certain soap, the sound of your favorite radio station, or the way you fold a blanket over your knees. These things, though small, hold enormous power when everything else feels out of place. Aging invites us to recognize that stability doesn't always come from outside circumstances. It often comes from within the rituals we choose and the symbols we cherish. When you build these gentle anchors, you are telling yourself a quiet but powerful truth. Even here, even now, I am still myself. And that realization can turn an unfamiliar room into a softer, safer space where your spirit can rest. Many people believe that regret is a sign they chose wrongly, as if one decision could divide life neatly into right or wrong. But that belief is more of a myth than a truth. Regret doesn't always mean you made a mistake. Often, it means you are simply longing for something familiar or grieving what was left behind. Think of it this way. Regret is not a verdict, it's a messenger. It shows you where your heart still needs attention, where adjustments might bring more comfort, where you can soften the edges of change. Aging itself is full of these messages. Your body slows, and you may regret not being able to walk as quickly. Your memory shifts, and you may regret forgetting the details that once came so easily. But does that mean you have failed? Of course not. It means life is inviting you to live differently, with new rhythms, new forms of patience, new ways of honoring yourself. The same is true for assisted living. Feeling regret doesn't mean you don't belong there. It means there is something inside you that still wants tending, a part of your story that needs to be woven into this chapter. Instead of thinking, I chose wrongly, you might gently ask yourself, what can I do here to carry more of myself forward? Perhaps it's arranging your room to reflect your past home. Perhaps it's keeping an old tradition alive in a new way. Or perhaps it's finding a single new friendship that feels like a lifeline.
Regret, when listened to with compassion, can become a teacher. It reminds you that you are not finished, that there is still more to shape, more to feel, more to live. Aging is not about achieving perfect choices. It is about learning to live with the choices you've made and discovering how to grow inside them. And that is a kind of wisdom younger people rarely understand. So if regret has been heavy on your heart, I want you to know this: it does not have to trap you. It can guide you toward what still matters. It can be a doorway into deeper self-understanding, if you allow it to be. You are not defined by one decision, not even by this move. You are defined by how you continue to live, to seek meaning, to nurture yourself. If these reflections have spoken to you, I invite you to subscribe so you can keep receiving gentle guidance and encouragement like this. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What has been the hardest adjustment for you in aging, and what perhaps has surprised you in a good way?